I thought I would do a tutorial on how to set up MultiAra on your computer for Horde chess analysis. There are two web pages that you are going to want to go to. The first one is this one, CrazyAra, ClassicAra, MultiAra on GitHub, and this is for the engine itself. The second one is LiGround. This is the graphical user interface for the chessboard. It's not compulsory because you can actually analyze Horde on the terminal, but it definitely makes the analysis more user-friendly. So LiGround is the GUI I would recommend because it's made by the same developer and seems to work the best. Now, I am a Windows 10 user. I also have an NVIDIA GPU. If you are a Windows 10 user with an NVIDIA GPU, then there are only two files that you are going to want to download from the first page. The first one is the TensorRT folder for Windows users. So CrazyAra, ClassicAra, MultiAra, Windows 10, TensorRT. The second file is MultiAra-rl-models. So you only need to download these two if you are using Windows 10 and have an NVIDIA GPU. Now, if you are a Windows user without an NVIDIA GPU, then I don't know how to help you, but I know that you will have to use this MKL folder instead of TensorRT. And I assume the process is pretty similar, but I know that if you are using TensorRT, then you have to build the engine with the terminal, whereas you don't have to do that with MKL, I believe. I could be wrong. I imagine that the process for downloading MultiAra is very similar across all platforms. So if you have a Mac, I assume you only need to download this folder in tandem with this RL models folder. If you have Debian Linux, I tried to help someone who has Debian Linux and AMD, but I couldn't help them. I don't know how to download MultiAra for Linux, but I assume you only need this folder in tandem with the RL models folder. Okay, so I'm going to download one at a time. Let's start with TensorRT. Oh, this stuff, I deleted it so that I could demonstrate how to download. So these three at the bottom are gone. I'm just downloading this again. So it should take a minute or two. Okay, so this one finished downloading. Now let's download RL models. Shouldn't take long. It's roughly half the size of the TensorRT folder, right? A little more, but you know. Now this finished downloading. Finally, I am going to go ahead and download the LiGround GUI. So windows.exe is the one that I want, of course. And it's a pretty small file, right? Alright, so we downloaded everything that we wanted. Now I am going to go to my downloads and drag these to my desktop, I guess. And then, first thing, I don't want to extract both of them at the same time. I want to extract one at a time. So I'm going to select one, extract files, and it's right here. Okay. And then next I'm going to extract this one. Okay. And then finally I'm going to open up LiGround and make sure that it works properly. Windows protected your PC. Run anyway. Installing, please wait. Okay. So LiGround is the easy part. The hard part is configuring MultiAra. Okay. Now I'm going to exit out and let's set up MultiAra. First thing, I'm going to go to my TensorRT folder, and where it says model, I am going to click model, and then I'm going to click MultiAra. We don't need the README folder, we can just delete this. Next, I'm going to open up the RL models folder, and I'm going to select only the Horde folder and drag it in. I don't need any of the other folders if I'm just analyzing Horde. Now you can drag all variants folders, but it makes the process a little bit more complicated because the default setting of MultiAra is 3-check, and so you are going to have to take one extra step to configure the terminal so that it's set to Horde instead of 3-check. So the easiest way to analyze Horde is to drag the Horde folder by itself. So I'm going to exit out of this. We can go ahead and put these in the chess software folder, like so. I'm going to drag these into scrap paper. Okay. And then, well, I'm going to go back to the TensorRT folder main, and then, well, first let's drag into chess software and open up the TensorRT folder, select MultiAra.exe, and now we are in the terminal. So the first thing we want to do is set the position to the Horde position for its calculations. So setoption name UCI variant value Horde. Is that right? Yes. And then isready. And then it should start building the engine. Perfect. So it's going to take a few minutes. And to my understanding, if you are using MKL instead of TensorRT, then you do not actually need to open up the terminal. This is for TensorRT only. I could be wrong, but that's my educated guess. So yeah, it's going to take a few minutes, and then when it finishes, it's going to report back OK ready. and stuff like that, if it works properly. Or it will say ready, okay. Mm-hmm. Interesting. I don't recall the process building the engine twice. It's possible that I missed a step or something, but let's see. Maybe it's right because there are multiple model folders. I mean, multiple model files. So I'm not tech savvy. I'm just solve problems with trial and error and a little bit of calculation. Perfect. So it worked properly because it reported ready okay. So now I believe it's safe to exit out, right? I can just exit out. Probably. And now let us open LiGround and set up the engine now that we built it, right? So go to settings, then click the plus, then select the binary to the TensorRT folder. Where is it? Desktop chess software. Here we go. MultiAra. Then we can name it whatever. Horde-ara, I guess. Then set the logo. And logo optional, right? And then we can, I'll just go ahead and set the logo. Save. And it should work. You will have to wait for it to get set up because LiGround automatically, it has a script that automatically configures all the settings so that MultiAra can read it. But it looks like it's finished configuring, so now we can just start it and it should work properly. Perfect. One more recommendation is you can go to settings and set multi-PV to 3 so that it analyzes more quickly. So now it considers only 3 moves instead of 5 moves, and so you can analyze at a higher depth more quickly. Again, I'm not tech savvy, but I know that there is a phenomenon of chess engines that you can set like the amount of CPUs to certain numbers like 2, 3, or 4 or something to make it find stronger moves in the shortest amount of times. I don't know how to do that stuff. Maybe it has something to do with setting the nodes, but this is very useful. Alright, one thing you should know is you have to manually turn off the engine after analyzing every move and before making the move. So let's say we want to play h5. We wanted to make sure that we turned the engine off. Now we can go ahead, turn it back on. And after we know what move we want to make, we have to first turn off the engine, then make the move, and then turn it back on. And then you'll have to do that for every move, for now at least. The developer is currently working on a new version of LiGround that simulates this manually turning off and on thing. If you move while leaving it on, then it's going to crash. See, now it's stuck. If it gets stuck, it's no big deal. You can just exit out and then restart LiGround and then wait for LiGround to configure. For MultiAra to configure, and then it should start working again. Perfect. And that is how you set up MultiAra if you are a Windows 10 user with an NVIDIA GPU. I hope this helps. I figured that maybe it is possible for people with other operating systems to apply a similar kind of process. I don't know. I can't help you if you don't have Windows 10 and NVIDIA GPU, unfortunately. But I guess that this video should at least help some people out there. Thank you for watching, and that's it. Thank you.